If you've been researching narcissism for a while, you will probably have learned about the overt or grandiose and the covert or vulnerable narcissist. But what is less often talked about is the overt and covert codependent. A codependent shares much of the inner core drive of needing validation as a narcissist. They just go by getting it in different ways. If you feel the need to please people, then you may find some value and hard truths in this video. Hello wonderful person and welcome to Narcissistic Abuse Healing. I'm Anton and I create videos about abuse with a focus on narcissistic abuse to help you understand what was done to you and help you heal from it. Please help this channel grow by subscribing. If you find this video informative or helpful in any way, please like and share it so that more people can benefit from it. What is a codependent? Although codependents are often viewed as a polar opposite of narcissists, they both lack a healthy sense of self. Both frequently struggle to get a sense of who they are due to an unidentified sense of self. Although they both use manipulation tactics to address the need for validation to feel worthy, they go about getting it in radically different ways. Narcissists lack empathy and have no remorse, nor do they care about other people. They exploit others and need people to inflate their self-esteem. They need a continuous stream of affection and admiration from others to feel good about themselves. The narcissist is most of the time solely focused on themselves and what they can get out of people. They seldom care about the needs of others or that they are hurting people. Codependents, on the other hand, are often hyper-focused on others. They typically form their identity around serving other people's needs and getting validation from helping people. Where the narcissist wants to feel special and unique, the codependent wants to feel needed. Codependents can set themselves up that people are reliant on them to feel secure in being needed. A narcissist may try to control people to exploit them or to feel secure in not being abandoned, where a codependent may try to control someone because they feel they know what is best for the person. Narcissists often want validation that they are the best or are unique and special. Where codependents often just want to feel needed, they will frequently forego material payment for a simple thank you. Narcissists often fear being abandoned and not being special and unique. Codependents often fear failing others or no longer being needed. Common origins of codependency and narcissism. Codependency and narcissism are both linked to adverse childhood experiences. In a 1999 study, codependent behaviors were linked to childhood parentification. This is when a child takes on a caregiver role for their parents or siblings. This can be due to abuse or neglect. The child may take care of their caregivers, siblings, or themselves. This can be either or both from physical or emotional neglect. Thus, both codependents and narcissists have similar childhood experiences, and they both struggle with similar internal negative self-talk and feelings of not being worthy, as well as not knowing who they are. They just adopted different ways of dealing with it. For instance, two brothers grow up in a toxic home where they are neglected. Both develop low self-esteem. One brother learns that he is only worth something when he does things for others and pleases others. He then may become a codependent and gets used to sacrificing his own needs for others. The second brother develops a false image with an inflated self-esteem as a protective mechanism. The stronger the false self, the stronger the sense of importance and entitlement he feels. As an adult, both may constantly need validation to prove their self-worth. Although the behaviors differ, at the core of both a narcissist and codependent's behaviors are childhood trauma and a fractured sense of self with a need for validation. The unhealthy perfect pair. The codependent seeks someone they can serve and pour their heart out to. The narcissist seeks someone who will serve them. Thus, codependents and narcissists often end up together in a relationship. Unfortunately, this dynamic frequently gets unhealthy fast. In the beginning, the codependent thinks they have someone who will appreciate them and what they do for the person. This is due to the intense love bombing from the narcissist. The codependent thinks no one has ever treated them so special, thus, this person must love them intensely. While the narcissist thinks they found someone who sees the narcissist for how special they are and will serve them and dedicate their life to them. This is due to the drive of a codependent to please and sacrifice themselves for other people's joy. However, The narcissist will soon fail to show the appreciation and gratitude that the codependent seeks. This is because the love bombing stopped. The codependent often feels that if they do just a little bit more, then their partner will see their worth and give them the gratitude they deserve. They then try to get the loving feeling back by putting on the afterburners with their deeds. The narcissist, on the other hand, gets used to what the codependent gives and starts to need more to feel special. The codependent is like a drug for them that they cannot get enough of. The narcissist will at random make the codependent feel special and appreciated to manipulate them. This dynamic may cause the codependent to stay with the narcissist for years or decades until they are burned out, only to find the narcissist discard them without as much as a thank you. Codependency and narcissistic traits. Unfortunately, due to the toxic environment the codependent grew up in and the lack of guidance growing up, they often pick up narcissistic tendencies. It is not that they are narcissistic, they often just do not know any better, as that is what their caregivers did, or the only way the codependent learned to protect themselves from others. They may also not have learned to think about the impact of their actions on others. So although they mostly do not intend to hurt others, they may unintentionally do so. There are also instances where they may get triggered and can lash out with the intention to hurt. This is often due to an inability to manage their emotions and deal with them healthily, as the only way they learn to deal with emotions is to either ignore them or with violence. However, the codependent will pay the price of guilt and shame when they lash out and have immense remorse. When they realize they hurt someone, they will often try to make amends and frequently try to change their behaviors. Due to the codependent's need to please and inherent belief it is their fault that others are not happy, it is easy for a narcissist to gaslight a codependent and have them believe that the abusive behaviors of a narcissist are the fault of a codependent. As a codependent struggles to stand up for themselves and often have weak boundaries, the narcissist can label any self-care of a codependent as selfish. They often call any pushback of a codependent as being egotistical and then label the codependent as the abuser and the narcissist. With a codependent already believing they need to serve, it is easy for them to falsely believe they are a narcissist when they only want basic necessities for themselves. The fact that all people have narcissism in them, which is self-preservation and a want to progress and be successful, can make it even harder for the codependent to see that they are not a narcissist. The codependent needs to accept that self-care and wanting success for yourself is healthy narcissism, whereas getting things for yourself at the cost of others is toxic narcissism. The codependent then has to accept that it is not narcissism that needs to be avoided, but toxic narcissism. The overt codependent. As covered before, codependents get validation of their worth from doing things for others. The overt codependent often do things openly. They will also more often go directly to the person and tell the person what they did for them, or bring them gifts. The codependent then expects praise and recognition for what they did for the other person, or the gifts they bought them. They may even tell other people how much they did for the person to try to put pressure on the person to show gratitude toward the codependent. The codependent will frequently pay for everyone and will throw big parties for others if they can, or they will openly help and set things up and make things happen. They often volunteer when help is needed and are very much in the open when it comes to helping. The covert codependent. The covert codependent also gets validation through doing things for people. However, they struggle even more with a low sense of self and feel even more unworthy. Note that a codependent can shift between overt and covert depending on how they are treated and the situation. The covert codependent will often do things in secret or behind the scenes, such as leaving money in a drawer or on a table. They will clean up and wash dishes while everyone else is still having seconds at the barbecue. They will secretly pay people's bills for them or arrange things they know a person needs. Seldom will they tell the person it was them. The codependent mostly wants to have people discover how worthy and important the codependent is. The codependent almost feels like an underdog where they hope people realize on their own the codependent's worth and then come to the codependent with praise. This is partly because the codependent is afraid of being told their work is not good enough and because they secretly feel unworthy of praise. Some can believe that it is their duty to help others. They frequently struggle with either have money not to give it away or help others. This, however, sets the codependent up for a lot of good deeds that go unrecognized. They may go years or decades where they just take care of everything behind the scene while they hope people will finally ask, who fixed this? Who took care of the dishes? And so on. This does not happen often, and the codependent can spend their entire life being a slave to their partner, family, and friends with no recognition at all. The problem. With a codependent doing things for others and expecting recognition and praise, it often creates a scenario where they are disappointed for not getting any or enough recognition. They may start to resent the other person. They may also set it up without intent that the other person is reliant on them. This can make them feel guilty for cutting the other person off or leaving the person as their worth is now tied to the person. Plus, they may have created the situation by volunteering to help. So they feel it is their duty to continue to help or stay with a person as they said they would, for they don't want to be seen as a person who goes back on their word. They may confront the other person for not being grateful for what they did, where the other person may turn around and say that they did not ask for any help, or for the things the codependent did, or that the codependent volunteered to help. It can also make people feel incompetent or useless when the codependent just does things for people without asking. And when the codependent seeks validation and gratitude for the deeds, it can cause people to feel manipulated, which will cheapen the deeds the codependent did. Even if the codependent gets gratitude, because they often only yearn to feel wanted and be appreciated, people may learn how to exploit them. Thus, the person may live only to serve others while they only get empty thanks. When they then later need help, people may drop them faster than a hot potato. The codependent may then realize they have spent their entire life and fortune on others and it was all for nothing. Things to try. If you constantly want to do things for others, buy things for others, or help others, then ask yourself, why exactly do you want to do it? Is it because you want them to think good about you? If you knew they would never say thank you or think you are a good person, would you still do it for them? This also goes for buying yourself things. Do you imagine how you are going to show the item to someone, say your parents, and how proud they are going to be of you? If so, ask yourself, are you buying the item because you need it or because you want someone to think well of you? You should imagine yourself being happy with the item and you using it, not how you show it to others and how they praise you. Before you do something for someone, get their permission first, such as paying their cell phone bill or house payment. And before you approach someone to offer help, take a step back and ask yourself, why do you want to help this person? Then ask yourself, how is your help going to affect the person? Will it make the person free of you or dependent on you? Try to help people so that they can help themselves. So instead of just paying a person's credit card debt, have them take a course on financial budgeting so that they can balance their income and expenses. Or help the person get a better job so that they can buy their own new car instead of you doing it. Consider lending people money instead of giving it to them. Also consider allowing people to choose their own car instead of buying it for them and then expecting them to be grateful to you. Lastly, consider seeing a therapist to help you with low self-esteem and self-worth and needing to help others to feel worthy and wanted. You are worthy, just being human. You don't need to prove your worth to others or be a slave to them to be loved. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative or helpful in any way, like and share it so that more people can benefit from it. If not subscribed, please subscribe now. Please leave a comment as it helps to expand the information covered in the video, which may be of benefit to others. See my books on narcissism by following the links in the description. For donations, please use the donation button on the banner or follow the link in the description. Thank you.